The U.S. is warning countries against buying oil from Venezuela after the country is turning to India for its exports. This coming as China is speaking with Venezuela's opposition party to secure its oil investments, hedging its bets in anticipation of a regime change. I want to get straight to our guest to talk more about this. Guillermo Zubillaga, great to see you. Thank you so much for coming in today. This is a very complicated relationship in terms of what's happening, not just with Venezuela, but U.S. allies, the oil market in general. The United States and the West, most of the Western countries, are backing the opposition party, whereas China and Russia, they're behind Nicolas Maduro, and they are really drawing a line in the sand in some senses. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I think that China and Russia are now starting to understand that, Maduro is not going to be able to continue producing the oil and get the oil out of the ground. They're not going to be able to sell to their biggest exporter, that was the U.S. So I think the talks in D.C. of Chinese with the Venezuelan opposition are very important. And also, it's important to say that India is not going to be able to supplement all the income that, Venezuela got from the U.S. sales. It takes way longer for a tanker to make all that, that trip. And also they're going to have to buy it at a discount because India's already, they have enough supply. They're going to have to buy it, I think it's a 30-40% discount. So, and Bolton has already warned India to be careful not to, provide a life support for the Venezuelan regime.
What other options are there, though, when Washington is pressuring other countries to stay away from the oil from Venezuela?
Right, exactly, not that many. And especially now with China and Russia and Washington pressuring India, I don't think the Venezuelan regime has that many options. So this is important, and this is important to be covering right now because, we may see a development in terms of the generals and the economy and the gasoline supply that will really hit the real economy in ways that, we haven't yet seen.
And Venezuela used to be a very robust supplier of oil to the global markets. Obviously, things have been deteriorating, but still we're talking about anywhere from 1 to 1.5 million barrels a day. That's significant when you think about how much the market moves when OPEC cuts 1 million barrels a day.
Yeah, you're right. But I think that the market has already been understanding that Venezuela's oil production has declined rapidly, and they kind of hedge. I think, for example, in the U.S., all the refineries, they were already in talks and thinking that this option was going to come. I understand that preoccupation, but we've seen from the International Energy Agency that they don't see a price hike from Venezuelan's oil disruption because that disruption has already been there.
I just want to get to this because Senator Marco Rubio was speaking out on Venezuela during a Yahoo Finance interview earlier. So let's watch that and we can react.
Should we be doing more? Let me say this belongs to the Venezuelan people. This is not a U.S. initiative. It's not an international initiative. It is an initiative of the people of Venezuela, and we stand here to support them in what they are asking for. What they are asking for is to recognize their legitimate government, which we have. They've asked us for humanitarian aid, which the U.S. stands ready to deliver. In fact, is already delivering over 60, 70 metric tons that are now, positioned and ready to be distributed. More on the way.
So the U.S. has made its position very clear here, but this is a fight that's far from over.
Well, but I think that we're going to see it developing soon. As the hyperinflation in the country, you cannot imagine how hard it is for people to buy, basic protein like eggs. 1 kilogram of cheese is the equivalent to a monthly minimum wage. The production, again, is stagnated. The lack of, remember, Venezuela needs imports of diluents to refine its oil so they can have gasoline. So the fuel supply. I think that we are going to see in the coming weeks really what these sanctions and what this pressure from the U.S. and other countries can bring to the table. And would that maybe regime change or not? But we're going to see
that crisis come
to peak right now. Yeah, in the next coming weeks, because as it is right now, I don't think that they are able to sidestep it or be able to overcome it.
Guillermo, thank you so much.
My pleasure.